Good evening, guys. Good to see you again. We have IC popped in earlier, obviously. And we have Occam's Razor. He popped in a little bit earlier, too. Hey, Norfolk. Good to see you. And Diana, good to see you, too. We wait a couple of more minutes and let more people join. We give them time. I hope your week has been great. Mine has been a logistic nightmare, but I managed. I hope you bring your own coffee too, because I have mine. So, today's topic is basically survival is more than food, holiday traditions in a post-SHTF world. We wait a couple of more minutes and let people pop in. I hope people get my notifications. Sometimes YouTube mess things up. I've been forced to work all over Easter, including the bank holidays. I don't mind as it is mega money. Yeah. Holidays usually bring more money in, better paid. I think they do that because it's a compensation. Hey, Ken and Scotty, good to see you. Yeah, you get a point there, Norfolk. Yeah. That makes more prepping stuff to buy. I agree with that. Hey, Fire Dr. Ninja Turtle, good to see you. Oh, so you are going for a 1 mile walk. That's good. That's good. I hope you guys had a great week, at least better than mine. Hey, Liselot, good to see you. Happy Easter. I hope you had a great day too, a great week too, Liselot. Nine people in the house. That's awesome. We can wait a couple of more minutes and wait and see when people join. They will. Hey, Adventure with Zog, good to see you. How are you doing? I hope you had a great week. Mine has been a logistic nightmare, but that is as it is this time of the year. Always when these holidays come up, it's always a lot of things to do. Hey, Leslie Ann, good to see you. Good, thanks. That's awesome. That's awesome. We are 4 or 5 minutes in, so I think it's time to begin with today's topic. And thank you, Daryl, for the reminder. Please hit the like button, everyone. And if you're up for it, feel free to share it as well. Well, let's jump into the topic for this evening. Yeah, and that too. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. So, today's topic is survival is more than food, holiday traditions in a post-SHTF world. Hey, Willow Tree, good to see you. Hey, CR, good to see you. Prepper for the Ages, good to see you. How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. Yeah. So, how do you celebrate the holiday traditions in a post-SHTF world? How are you going to do that? Christmas, Easter, Midsummer, if you celebrate it, Halloween. Hey, Diggs, good to see you. So, how exactly are you going to celebrate your holidays in a post-SHTF world? That, well, basically create some problems. Tired from hauling preps about the house in an attempt to organize. How are you? Tired. Um, I had a logistic nightmare this week at work. Yeah, Mike. I'm away with the family. Always thought about this when it comes to birthdays and keeping a level of normality. Yeah, I think to keep a certain amount of normality is a good thing. It's a moral boost as well. Um, Diggs Adventures. Gonna be here till my Jeep is done in the shop, getting inspection, emissions, oil change, and a few other things. Huh. That will be expensive. How the nightmare is sorted now. Okay. Especially when you have younger children. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Mike. Uh, that will definitely be quite of a problem, but you can fix it. How are you going to celebrate it? With balloons and cake and uh, that would draw attention. Not the cake, but the balloons. Um, um, you need to be careful when you celebrate your birthdays, holidays, and like Christmas, Easter, Midsummer. Um, you can celebrate your holidays and birthdays, but you have another factor to consider, and take in consideration is that there might be other people who can be drawn. If you're too loud when you celebrate a birthday or Christmas, Easter, things like that. So you need to keep the noise level low. And preferably to keep the smell away so it doesn't draw people to your house as well. I forgot something here. Oh, I can only run for 3 hours today because I need to drive my missus to the mass at church. Okay, so 3 hours, and I have to go 11. So 3 hours I can be streaming for today. Then I have to take my missus to the church. Hey, Uncle Al. Yeah, stop by to say hello. Always nice of you. Okay, your Uber is there. Okay, good. So, guys, do you have any other suggestions on how to celebrate your holidays and birthdays and things like that in a post-SHTF world? I believe you guys have great ideas about it. Sometimes it's sharing the time together and not necessarily the food or balloon that matters. Yeah, I agree. Making gifts, whittling wood is a great pastime and can make great keepsakes. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Mike. Regifting and repairing clothing. Yeah, that's another good idea. And you can take your kids and carve a spoon or a butter knife or whittling egg shaped wood so kids can still decorate an egg and roll them down a hill. Yeah, that would be fun, I guess. CR says, great recommend and action. Okay. I do like this. Where do we have you, my friend? Oh, there. Did I put the right one? Yeah, I did. CR, I sent the link for you if you want to join. Do activities on the holidays. Play games. Play games. and do creative stuff. Um, okay, Sierra, no problem. In a post-SHTF world, I think do uh, practical things and do create games that are practical so they can your kids can learn skills. Is another idea I get. Just popped up in my head. Yeah, you hear a lot, CR. There is probably always something that is needed to be repaired, especially in a post SHTF world. Maybe it's something on your house you need to repair. Maybe it's Norfolk UK prepper. Make skills fun to do for kids and adults. Don't make them think it's for prepping. I think that is a good idea. Hey, Iron Fire Horse. Good to see you again, ma'am. I've seen a lot of crosses made of reeds at church. Could make those if your family celebrates Easter. That's a good idea, Willow. My wee one likes to make bracelets. Quite activity. Yeah, that's another great idea. That is also a practical skill. So make different bracelets. And Jill says, okay, done. We used to make crosses out of palm reeds. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. But do some good activities that your kids can be part of, that they can learn new skills. Iron Fire Horse says macrame is a great for kids to learn. Yeah, we did that in school actually. Macrame. That's fun. And that is actually a useful skill. And teach your kids sewing. I am actually really bad at sewing. I'm not good at it. It's fun and can be used in many ways once learned. Yeah, I definitely agree with that, Iron Fire Horse. Any other great ideas you guys have? Yes, you're. It's true. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Jill. That's that's a really good idea. Write out letters to Santa, carve Christmas ornaments, make those paper chain links to decorate a tree. Yeah, that's that's really nice. You can do really nice things. Yeah, that too. Read the Bible. Yeah, that is another. The kids might not be that interested in it, but in a situation like that, they will probably like it. Iron Fire Horse. That was funny. I need to think about that, CR. Try to keep busy even without electricity or power. Yeah, that's another thing. Uh, we are so used to have the electricity. So when we don't have it, it really sucks because we are so used to it. Uh, okay, you have the children's Bible. Okay, good. Hey, Vanessa, good to see you, ma'am. Uh, Willow says, my wee one has their own Bible with lots of good pictures. It also has had some nice prayers. They really like reading it. Okay, that's good. Um, Jill says, you're right. Let them take turns reading. A family night was always special because the parents would make time to be there. Yeah, and I think holidays would be more important to gather your family in a situation like that, like a post SHTF. And it depends on how many of your family is still alive by then. Uh, gather as many of your family as possible and do things together. That's a really nice thing because the family would matter a lot more in a post SHTF world. So, oops. Um, Vanessa Kitty says, paper airplanes. Step up your game by getting the latest version of the original reissue if White Wings Airplane Kits, Planes Kit. Okay, good to know. I just ordered more kits to give to my siblings' families. That's awesome, Vanessa. That's really awesome. Teach some woodworking skills to bake chessboards. Yeah, that's another good thing. Uh, Woodworking is another great skill to have, and it takes time to get good at woodworking. It takes a lot of practice, but it's fun. Fire Doctor Ninja Turtle says board games would be quiet. Yeah, Jill says, good idea. Tell the young ones the family history like an oral history. Yeah, kids like history, histories, and tell them the family history. You can make those stories really fun, actually. It depends on the family, but every family has at least something that is really fun. Oops, make chessboards. Yeah, that's a playing chess is really good. It teaches you tactic and strategy. Checkers, chess, Chinese checkers. Okay, small proud projects. Yeah. CR says, let me draw you a picture of another idea to consider penciling in. Cool. The very first book of Great American Paper Airplanes in the early 70s is a classic in my family tree. Okay, cool, Vanessa. My father used to tell us bedtime stories, never read from a book. He was a great storyteller. That's awesome. Kids like stories. They really like stories. Um, when I was a kid, my mom and dad, they always read from a book. So that was our bedtime stories. Um, White Wings has just been authorized to reissue the very first kit from the 80s precision planes you cut out and glue up. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool, Vanessa. Um, he also provided tons of great books on everything. That's good. That's another good thing. Books teach your kids to read. Uh, Leatherworking, learning small projects, building stuff that can be used for years. Yeah, that is also a wonderful idea. Leatherworking, that takes a lot of practice to get it nice, look nice, and to look professional. It takes practice. I have worked one time with leather. It was quite fascinating, actually, but it was, I found it fun, but oh, the learning curve is a little bit high. But when you get over that, um, you will get it really nice. Oh yeah, don't forget knitting, weaving, macrame, etc. Pottery. Uh, Knitting is a good idea. Weaving as well, because you can weave basically a lot of things. And macrame is really nice. And pottery, we did that in school, pottery. We made different things. And it was really fun, actually. Vanessa says, "Oh, you can begin leather working on small, simple items to learn the basics." Okay, good idea. Using rope and cordage to tie up nets. Yeah. Ladders, nets, etc. I made my very first next when I got out of high school. Okay, that's cool, Vanessa. I got my Wii One, a USB battery powered full size sewing machine for her to practice on. Would be good for repairing or making new items. I didn't know there were a USB battery powered full size sewing machine. I didn't know that. Where do you get one of those? I'm gonna look onto that one as well. Baking, cooking, cleanups, etc. All great skills to help teach the youngings how to. Yeah. Okay, so that is a Temu buy. Okay. Thanks for the tip. Yes, here. But a battery USB powered sewing machine. Never heard of those before. But I will look into them, look into it and see what I can find. I've been looking at sale rights seeing sewing machines, one for large leather bags. Those are probably industrial sewing machines, right, Vanessa? It looks like they are uh, industrial ones. My dad taught us how to start a safe fire in a brick fireplace on the patio, then how to cook hamburgers, etc. That's cool. Hey, Gil, good to see you. Okay, Gil, no problem. I hope you get well soon, buddy. Yes, heavy duty ones for thick textiles and leather. Okay, but those are really quite expensive, right? These are all great ideas, just saying. Fever that high, call your doctor. Okay. How much do you need to pay for a used one? I believe those are probably a new one. I can imagine they are really expensive, but a new one, or I mean, a used one should be at least the half the price. Hey, Guardian Gardening, good to see you. How are you doing? Hello, Tofu. Good to see you again, bro. Hey, Nick. Good to see you again, too. And I believe Guardian wants to join me up here, right? Hey, Alan. Good to see you. Listening from work. It's late shift for me. Oh, Lord. You work the late shift. Yes, you are. You're really funny. Hey, Pilgrim. Good to see you. Let's see here if I can do this properly. Guarding. Let's see if he's pop up. Guardian, I popped the link for you. If you want to join me. Hey, Frenchy Sandy, good to see you. Anyone who has great ideas? To do on the holidays? Hey, Nick, good to see you. Any more good ideas you can do on your holiday when it's holidays, holiday traditions in a post-SHTF world? Geez, I can barely pronounce the words today. Vanessa says, don't forget dice games, Yahtzee, Farkle. Large dues to play them out in the patio and lawn is fun. Okay. That's cool. Okay, Daryl. No problem. Hey, Guardian. How are you doing?
Hey, Shadow. Hey, Chad.
How are you doing, Guardian?
I'm doing very well. Happy Easter to all who celebrate Easter, and I hope that you are all having a lovely weekend. We've got a little bit of a long weekend here on this side, so that's always nice.
Yeah. Well, we have Easter Eve here, so I will run for at least 3 hours because I have to drive the missus to the church for the mass. So it begins 11:30, I believe. So it's better to be in time. I don't like to be late. So that's why this stream will be a little bit shorter than usual. But so, Guardian, do you have any ideas what you can do to celebrate the holiday traditions in a post-SHTF world?
So one of the first things that a person really has to do is just be able to make sure that they can keep track of dates, because if we do kind of lose in any way the ability to have the technology that's available to us right now, if we do lose any of that, it'll become increasingly difficult to actually keep track of dates and time. So having, even if it's just a manual calendar or a notebook, and actually calendars themselves, very small, compact calendars, preferably waterproof, can last for a long time. There's also, like for myself personally, you all know that I'm a fan of solar digital watches, and they can last forever. And they also keep track of the dates for you, and they keep track of time. And in a lot of survival type scenarios, specifically within scouting and that as well, it's always going to be beneficial to be able to know what the time is, and to know exactly what to kind of how to keep track of the dates specifically. People's birthdays, things like that can really make a difference. They're not extremely important to have, but there are definitely things that can be quite significant for people to keep some sort of normalcy.
Yeah, and to keeping track of the dates, that can be quite difficult, because that is easy to lose track of it, especially when you don't get new every year. So that keeping track of the dates, that's a really good idea. Thank you for mentioning that one.
Yeah, I think there's also, there are watches that are more fancy as well, but I'd strongly recommend, I've been using the same watch for about 6 years now, and I would definitely recommend people looking up, and I've advocated it for it before, once or twice on the streams, but the Solar G69, the Casio, the G6900. So that's 6900, the Casio Solar. And the reason why is because it hasn't dropped a bar of battery in the 6 years that I've owned it. Now, if we have to somehow lose access to the grid, either because of fossil fuels or something like that being limited, or there's various different things that could bring up a situation, such as even if it's martial law or something as well, you want to make sure that you've got something that can last an extraordinarily long time. That'll give you that utility. In fact, if you have the funds to do so, I would actually recommend having a backup phone, watch or two that you keep completely sealed, compact in the box, and it can just be something that you have as reserve for if your current, watch, the whole rule is 2 is 1, 1 is none, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going for that. 1 is none, 2 is 1. I like to have backup systems.
Yeah, and it's something that can provide so much, there's so much utility within that as well, and it doesn't take as much space, and it doesn't take as much weight. They're obviously very light, and they're very easy to carry for a long time. So items and technology like that are actually definitely in the top 5 pieces of technology. In terms of the holidays and keeping true to holidays, most of the time, well, speaking about here specifically, there's a vast and diverse amount of different cultures and people with different beliefs as well. But I think that people just being respectful of other people's, cherished holidays, and in survival situations, there are ways to try and keep, specifically, it's about the kids, right? Most of these holidays as well are for the kids to have a great time. So trying to keep it special, if you've got to scavenge for additional resources as the holidays period, like Easter or Christmas are coming up, it's never a bad idea to be able to do so, to just have a little bit of extra stuff compared to what they'd usually have on their day-to-day, and try and make it special for them. So yeah, I think that when it comes down to it, keeping things that make us feel a sense of normalcy is really important. And yeah, holidays being one of them. I definitely agree with the stream that you're hosting. It's quite a good thing to have.
Yeah. I think the holidays and to celebrate those, I think that is more important for the kids than it is for the adults. But some certain holidays are important for adults as well, like Christmas and Easter, and but the holidays are more interesting and fun for a child because they remember it.
Yeah, and then obviously if you have things like that, if you keep the group positivity up, and that extends to every family member or community member, then you keep the group morale up, and you don't want to be in a really terrible situation and have lost. Not that specific holidays are the only things that'll keep that morale up, but it's just about the small things. Just trying to specifically, if you're going to have a community, have some sort of
Yeah.
semblance of normalcy. So yeah, there's ways to do
Yeah, and
that.
it's those to celebrate those holidays. It's also a moral boost. That is something you looking forward to.
I think it goes, this is maybe a bit of a strange way to view this topic, but I think that in several situations, if you can just have one day of the week that's a bit more special than every other day of the week, even if that's regarding food or regarding something, because in a survival situation, getting through each week is a victory. Eh? I
Yeah,
think that a lot of people that would attest to this there've been an immense amount of people that have been through really hard trials throughout history and across the world. And I love listening to survival stories as well. I actually had a segment that I was busy working on at some point as well, and wanted to try and cover a lot of them. But the more that you understand about survival stories and people that have been through hardships, you'll understand that
yeah,
little gaps in time as well that can actually make people feel. That's why I say, even if it's on one of the weekend days, you try and keep things almost like have a sense of that feeling where everybody feels that there's something to work towards each week, and every day is a victory, but each week is something that you can genuinely celebrate as a little group in a way, and just to make sure that you keep going on and on, just as a reminder that even if things are seeming extremely gloomy, and even if things are seeming destitute, that you're still capable of keeping smiles on everybody's faces.
yeah. Nick Miller says, what we as family usually do on holidays is to do the things we don't get the time for. If that's going to be the norm after SHTF, I don't know. Well, it might be the norm for your family, but it might not be the norm for my family or anybody else, because every family is different. They have all different traditions, family traditions. So,
Well, yeah, I think that you can always keep things like that in a very personal way. Like I've always believed that specifically if you are in a group with a large amount of diversity, then having like holidays and having achievement things every week, having like a small bit of a feeling and semblance of a holiday isn't particularly leaning into any culture or any religion, but more just leaning into like the group celebrating being alive another week. And there are little ways that you can do that as well. And it just goes into the psychological side of making sure that people feel comfort and that they feel secure and safe, even when things are falling around you. Like that's why depression becomes an extremely intriguing element of survival situations.
yeah,
People are specifically after witnessing different harsh situations, people will absolutely feel like, it's a whole thing. It obviously is like depression is something where you can try and escape it and you can try and get out of it. But if there's enough that's happened to a group, people do start to lose that, will to see tomorrow. And we should never lose hope in things turning better and perhaps even society coming back to normality, or even if you are in like a emergency situation that isn't like SHTF, but it's just, short-term emergency situation, or you get stranded somewhere or something like that, just looking forward to the next hour and keeping your hopes up. And I know that people have been through a lot in the world as well, but you speak about holidays and celebrating, special events. It really comes down to genuinely each person is responsible for making sure that they understand how important it is to have a strong will and to enjoy life and to try and encourage others and to try and lift other people's spirits up, so that the whole group understands how important that is. Because at the end of the day, like, you've really just got to look after yourself and your community as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Let's say, as you mentioned, hey, we survived another week, okay? We celebrate, okay? But in that case, at the end of the year, you can have a larger celebration for, hey, we survived this year too. So you can make a larger feast of that. We survived another year.
So, yeah, you can also, like, there's ways to make holidays in those scenarios, specific holidays and events that will be fundamental to a group's survival. One of the ways that you can, and the reason why, if you give me a moment here as well, so groups have the opportunity and chance to sometimes be separated if the situation is really terrible. Groups and family members and friends have the chance that they get lost or they get, separated from the group. Having at least twice a year, so exactly in the middle of the year and at the end of the year, trying to make sure that you have a spot where the whole group understands that they've got to meet at that specific spot. And you could view it and frame it as a holiday if you wanted to, but it's like a day where your group understands that there's a specific location, and on a specific day, 2 days of the year, that you can at least try and get back to that specific point where the group knows, so that you can at least have like the group united. If you don't have any capability to have communication technology, if you've been completely stranded from that. And people, a lot of the time, mags do speak about things like this, but not in an extensive manner. But it is something that twice a year you plan out with your group and your family that this is the spot, exactly halfway through the year, and exactly on the 31st of December, right at the end, you guys have a meeting spot. It's just something that it can be one of those things that you view almost like a holiday, you give it that type of feeling of that.
That is a really good tips, Guardian, and I appreciate it that you mentioned it, because those tips are really useful, and that is good ideas too. I think celebrate, that is a holiday, or even if it's not a specific traditional holiday, I think, as I mentioned before, it is a moral boost. It keeps everyone going, and something to look forward to. So, and I think it's important to keep the moral up, because if the moral drops, you will have problems. So to keep people happy, you need to have something to celebrate, basically. So I can't type today either. No, I can obviously not type today. That's it. So, from a children's point of view, holidays is important. I remember when I was a kid, the holidays was important to me. Because that was something I was looking forward to. And I was always happy when those holidays came. So, hey, Purple Ale, good to see you. I'm late, but catching up. No worries. You pop up when you can. Frenchy Sandy says Mom would make homemade candy for Easter, would put it in little buckets and hide them everywhere. That's cool. That's really cool. Good ideas. If you can't type, blame autocorrect. Yeah. Thank you, Daryl. I appreciate it. Yeah. But anyway, holidays still important. Even if it's a SHTF, they will still be important. But the question is, how? That's how will you manage to track it? But if you can keep track of the dates, that would be easy. That would be not a problem. Nick says, on the other hand, holidays does not need to be a celebration. Remember that we all need rest. Yeah, that's another good point. Rest is really important, or otherwise you get burned out. And you don't want to get burned out in a post-SHTF situation. You don't want that. Not that common, but it is not that uncommon either. So I believe it's probably somewhere in the middle, I believe. Celebrating by sleeping in counts. Yeah. Holidays stop the days from just endlessly merging into each other. Yeah.
That right there. So thank you for bringing up the for tagging that as well, because I can't really see because I'm on my phone at the moment and it's giving me a bit of a problem when it comes to seeing chat. So if you can just highlight specific things as well, I appreciate it, Shadow. And this one specifically from UK Resilience Man, holidays stop the days from just endlessly merging into each other. It reiterates that point of trying to make sure that you have. That's why I said something as light as on a Friday or on a specific weekend day, you make it a bit special. Like you do something a bit extra. Like I know that you've got to ration everything, but if you need to just ration slightly less during the week so that on like a weekend day, everybody knows that that you'll at least have some sort of a regular meal compared to like eating lighter, because it's, you've really got to just be mindful about how often you're eating. So I think that when it comes down to that, just understanding that it's like a weekend and that it feels, just like it's something that's worth, just feeling happy as a group about. It's something that really comes and I've mentioned before how important this is, but I don't think that any of us, and I'll include myself in this as well, could ever prepare ourselves for what really could lie ahead when it comes to real SHTF, right? We can analyze things and we can theorize as much as we possibly want to, but we'll never really understand, or be able to predict exactly how rough life can be, because life always is so spontaneous that there's always something, that comes across our paths that sometimes we've just got to handle and deal with. There's so many situations over here that actually, can make people, like, across the world right now. I think everybody's feeling a bit of a pinch, and like the economies aren't doing great whoever you speak to. And people are just getting by, but I think there's lessons in the struggles that people face on a day-to-day, and if we turn things around that could be seen as negative into positives, and we try to really be optimistic as much as we can, as much as possible, like, I think that's really the end game to everything. Because you can have all the preps in the world, you can have all the survival training, you can have all the, like, you can complete your entire, like, first aid courses as well, and get, like, additional bushcraft training as well, and an experienced bushcrafter. Like, you can really delve into a lot of the fields of preparedness, but there's nothing more important than that will to push on, and that will to survive, and that, like, acknowledgement that things may get better, and that the only consistent that we ever know is that things are bound to change, and that change is a very formulative part of our existence. And without change, we definitely we would stagnate. So actually celebrating change itself, and just being as positive as we can. And I don't mean happy-go-lucky, la-di-da, smiling all the time, but having that internal contentment, and just being willing to grow as a person, and have the introspection to actually be willing to grow, and to be a positive person as much as you can. And I failed on this recently, because I've been there's been times where I've felt a bit gloomy, and you may have picked up on that. I think it was last week Saturday. I wasn't specifically rude, I was just more down in the dumps than I'd usually be. So yeah, I think that we all experience hardships, and we've just got to try and push on and keep ourselves as positive as we can.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. CR says a cupcake with candle counts.
You see, that's exactly the thing. That's the small things. It sounds silly, and it sounds like it sounds very like insignificant in a way, but it actually is extremely significant when it comes to people just being, like, a cupcake would be a very rare commodity in, depending on the SHTF, but a cupcake would be a very rare commodity in something like martial law.
If you manage to bake one, fine, that would be awesome. And you put a little candle in it. Okay, that, as it is now, under normal conditions, it might look quite silly, but well, in SHTF, that would be not that silly. It would be more like of a great feast or something, if you have a little cupcake with a candle in it.
So there's a plant that grows around here locally, and depending on where you are in the world, you'll have different amounts of access to plants such as this, because I know some plants might not be good growers in specific regions. But if you guys look into the amaranth plant, so AMARNTH, amaranth, amaranth, there's different varieties of amaranth. And if you can just bring up amaranth quickly for our Shadow, could you bring the amaranth on Wikipedia if you want to, or you can bring it up as an image. But the plant itself, what essentially it does is it doubles down as a high protein grain. And the grain itself can be used as like cereals. You can make specific flours with it. And in a lot of the time in different traditional cultures across the world, a lot of the indigenous people in specific areas would actually use amaranth as a survival crop. There's also the variety called sparked amaranth, but I've been growing amaranth for quite a while specifically for that, in like the food forest survival garden that I've got set up. And I really believe that, if you just look into amaranth, it can be, if you grow it like plentiful, you'll have a large amount of that resource, and it makes great cereals. I've actually made amaranth cereal, like a little bit of tried it out a little bit as well. Not made like a good amount of it. I actually want to try it properly, but I have like made a little tester thing, and it's
I think
it's
I
rather
found
interesting.
something here.
Go to images. If you're at amaranth plant, at the top there, see if there's images.
Yeah, I can see. I can try images.
and scroll down. So you see those grain heads there at the top that the plant grows, like that doubles down as a flower. So
Yeah.
this is, when CR mentioned cupcakes, it would actually be very interesting to try and make an amaranth cupcake. But the way that this plant grows can be very plentiful. It's also a pollinator. So if you're, trying to set up a little bit of an organic garden or survival garden or something as well, having amaranth with you is really like a beneficial thing to have as a pollinator, because then your fruit trees will have more abundant fruiting. So not only that, but it's just like an incredible crop that grows really quickly too, and it seeds very well. So your strike rating is pretty good when it comes to like how often you'll actually be able to grow the seeds. So it's very cool. And as a holiday plant as well, that's a whole other thing. Psychologically, if you want to make sure that everybody is as happy as possible in your group, try to use, whether it's your bug out location or whatever, use time to distract yourselves from just sitting around and moping in any emergency, whether it be medium or long term, and get active and involve everybody in it as well, and try to make sure that like the area is as like beautiful as possible. That's one of the greatest things about plants, is that you can really, you can if you understand what plants are edible around your region as well, you can go out gathering, and hopefully you understand a little bit about orienteering. So you'd have the capability to, do map work and understand how to read your compass and read your bearings. So basically be able to come back to the group, but you could have yourself go out and actually, find and identify different plants. Hopefully you've familiarized yourself now with them, which is why it's so important to access and use, Google and different YouTube specifically, learn about plants in your region. YouTube, Google them, look them up. Understand everything in your region, because then when you go out and you go gathering and bring back to your bug out location, you have the capacity to make it not only beautiful but very beneficial because of the indigenous plants that you've been able to gather around in your area, seedlings from plants as well. And you'll be surprised how abundant amount of food there is around you that you just would be able to eat and consume and use in different ways. But if you're ignorant and if you're not willing to increase your wisdom and knowledge around plants, then there's a disconnect between yourself and how important survival is, hence the capability to actually provide food. And what better way to understand how to keep yourself happy and positive and well fed for yourself and your group, other than knowing the relationship between ourselves and the natural world out there.
Speaking of plants, we have cattail, which is edible. And here in Sweden, we have a lot of those cattails in the lakes. So you have a great source of carbohydrates there. But it is also a medical plant, so it has a double use.
So if we're on this, on this kind of stream as well, and just chatting about plants, if we can just take just a brief moment as well. We don't need to speak on it for too long, because I know we're speaking about the holidays. But there's a couple of there's another plant that I'd love you to look up quickly that we could just do a quick look at, if that's okay with everybody in the chat group, if they're okay with doing that. If anybody has any objections, say so now in the chat group, and Shadow can bring it up and we can absolutely move on. But it's just that I think that it's inherent to speak about it's such an important component to survival, that we should definitely try and, understand. Just there's plants that I'm absolutely obsessed with, that are just common weeds that people walk past and they don't always acknowledge or understand the utility of them. So if we can just bring up two other plants quickly. So the first one is purslane, Purslane, purslane. So if you Purslane, purslane. So this grows.
I'm gonna get it back up.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's so long for us. Thank you.
I hope this is the plant you mean.
So yes, purslane. So specifically, Well, no. If you go to the top, that one looked similar, but this isn't the. Is this a similar one? It says. If you go to one of the images, make them big. You see, this isn't a weed that's abundant everywhere. This is a different plant.
Yeah. It was a different.
So obviously, even if we don't go down like the rabbit hole too far of the different plants and stuff as well, because you can close this now as well. We can go back to normal.
Yeah.
So if people have in their time availability, just like look up which region you're in. Look up some of the edible, wild, indigenous plants that grow that you can make use of, and then just like go from there. Like try and go and identify plants. There's applications on your phones that are free, and you can take those applications. Like there's one that I like quite a lot, which is called Picture This, and Picture This.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, and you use the Picture This app, and you do the plant identifier, and you can close the ads for it. And then what you're capable of doing is you can go out and like take pictures of the plants that are in your region and just find out which ones are edible and which ones aren't after like doing a bit of research. And I really can't recommend this more to like anybody else. Like it's the most important survival component that I would ever recommend to anybody, is actually understanding what you can and can't eat out there. And people die all the time of starvation where there are resources around them that would have kept them alive. So our bond to the natural world is so much more important than just a supply and demand kind of thing as well, from what we can gain from the natural world. But I firmly believe that as humans, we are also shepherds for the natural world, and we should try to, keep things. But yeah, I will. I'm so sorry to sidetrack this chat too much into plants. It's just I'm obsessed about it.
So that's no worry, no problem, Guardian. We always sidetrack. That's the normal thing on this stream, or every other streams too. I had. So no worries.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to chat to you out the way, and I always just I just don't hold back on speaking and communicating as well, because I think that if we all did that, we could all learn from each other simultaneously. But anyway, I love the chat group as well. Thank you to yourself for hosting me. I'll definitely be back. Maybe a little bit later, but definitely next week as well. And I look forward to having a successful week. And if I can just advise everybody, I really do recommend just having some fun with it. Approach it in an enjoyable way, and research and learn which plants are available in your local region and what plants like you can and can't eat, and go and like try them out as well. But make sure that you're very sure of the identification of them. There's a poison test that you can do as well. I'm not going to explain all that here, but you guys should know that as well, on how to identify if something is toxic or not, a toxicity test. But anyway, I'll chat to you all soon, and stay safe out there. Keep alert and keep your ears to the ground, because the news is getting wild out there. Bye for now.
Take care, Guardian. Let's see here. Vanessa says, my blackberry bush growth at the river's edge along a canal got damaged 2 years ago as that river flooded. Okay. That's nice that you have blackberry bush. Frenchy Sandy says we would pick hazelnut nuts in fall, then have them during Christmas holidays. Okay. That's cool. Vanessa says, a certain point in starvation, you may not have the presence of mind to find local plants to eat safely. Yeah, that is another problem you need to deal with. When don't we see a squirrel here randomly? Are you squirreling around, CR? Frenchy Sandy says, we also canned apples and pumpkin and made holiday pies. That's cool. I may plant blackberry bushes on the front yard and a net over to allow their growth. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, Vanessa. Home canning helps. Yeah, definitely. I plan on adding asparagus patch here to get it established for 5 years from now. Okay. That's good. And Sandy says my area also has a fair number of wild turkeys that we harvested, as well as venison that we combined with our pork and made sausage. Okay, that's cool. That reply was nuts. Yeah. The wild turkeys were all over the Dude Road yesterday. Hunting season in late April. 5 turkeys. 5 turkeys? That's awesome. That's really awesome. Okay. Good to know. A side road. Yeah, we always step into the side roads, but that's okay. We have to do that sometimes too. So, yeah, remember, I heard that name on that herb before, so any other ideas for how to celebrate the holidays? Maybe another thing. Mom liked minced meat. I was not a fan of. Okay. Yeah, I believe that is. I love mincemeat, plum pudding, fruit cakes. Yeah, that's awesome. I think I have eaten some. Well, it's kind of fruit cake before many years ago. It was pretty good, actually. Very juicy, in my opinion, but it has had a lot of flavor. Yeah, if you have the possibilities to make a fruit cake or anything else, that would definitely bring something extra to the table. Definitely. Teaching cooking over a fire pit and fireplace. Yeah, that is something you could teach your kids, definitely, because that is another good skill to have, actually. Remember, I get hungry if you ever meet me. Yes, you always meet things up. I got 6 new orders for fruitcakes this fall. Success. 6 new orders. That's a lot of fruitcake. Lefsa rosettes. Okay. Six new orders for fruitcakes. That's a lot of fruitcake. Well, you probably have to eat fruitcake for days. Yes, I make 6 fruitcake per batch too. Okay. Well, you will have enough fruitcake for a couple of months. Six fruitcake per batch. Okay. That's a lot of fruitcake. Yesterday at the Home Depot, the lady helping us likes fruitcakes, as I added her to the list as well. Okay. So you make fruitcakes and give to people. Mom made something called fluff. What is fluff? Never heard of that one before. 5x9 loaf pans are the size of each fruitcake. Okay. With whipped cream, fruit cocktail, and pineapple. Okay. That sounds good, actually. What holiday traditions can be relevant in a SHTF event? Maybe Christmas. But that means you need to keep track of the dates. And some families here in Sweden, they do egg hunts as well. Marshmallow fluff or homemade marshmallows. Okay, never made homemade marshmallows before. Marshmallows is basically egg white, basically. Forgot, mini marshmallows. Need to track seasons for freeze and thaws to plant. Yeah, that too. You can have a bath. Yes, you can. A nice, good bath. Hot chocolate, making it for the family. Yeah, I definitely agree with that one. Um, hot chocolate, everybody likes it. Um, kids like it. So that is really a good idea. When I was a kid, wintertime in December, my mother, we always made hot chocolate, and we had whipped cream, and we had sandwiches. Oh man, that was really good when you was a kid, and that was before we went to bed. So that's a nice memory I have, actually. The hot chocolate, whipped cream, and those sandwiches with cheese. Mini marshmallows with toothpicks. Oh, I have the jumbo campfire marshmallows. Oh, you can buy those jumbo campfire marshmallows here too. I made some telescoping fire forks to cook over the fire pit. That's good. Yeah, CR. You're hungry now? Yeah, I figured. Reaches for food. Yeah, I figured that too. You're always hungry, CR, especially when we talk about food. But food is a part of the holidays and the celebration, such as uh, some on holidays. Usually there is alcohol beverages too, um, which means that can cause some problems the day after. But in a post-SHTF, who cares? Uh, there is a company that makes a 2-pound marshmallow. Oh Lord, that's a big marshmallow. The fire fork's a 3-foot long handle with a 3-foot telescoping fire fork. You can sit at the bench, swing and toast or cook sitting down. Yeah. That's a nice thing, especially kids like that. They like uh, they like campfires and sit with a fire fork and uh, put a hot dog on it or marshmallow. I want to make a giant graham cracker for that giant marshmallow. Huge s'mores. Yeah, that would be a big s'mores, Vanessa. In the olden days, I'm old, we got oranges my aunt would send from California. We never had citrus otherwise. Yeah. It's my Renaissance grandma. Good to see you, ma'am. Welcome. Uh, Do you have any ideas what you can do with to celebrate holiday traditions in a post-SHTF world? Our neighbors growing up always brought my family cases of oranges and grapefruits from Florida before Christmas. That's awesome. Oh, I love grapefruits. I think I need to buy some grapefruit someday. And you put sugar on them. That's how I eat my fruits anyway. Yeah, oranges. Oh, so you eat them after peeling them. Okay. I usually cut them in half and put sugar on them, and I eat them that way. Playing cards, yeah, that's fun too. Playing cards, that keeps you busy. And with a deck of cards, you can play some card games. You can play solitaire. That will keep your mind occupied. Yeah, Vanessa, board games is another thing. And some board games take some time to play, but that makes the time fly. Yeah, board games. Yeah. There are a lot of board games you can buy, but make sure you buy board games that the kids can play. There are more advanced games, board games there that is made for adults, but or teenage kids. But it makes the time fly to play those games. Very useful. Yeah, Vanessa, kid games and higher level games. Yeah. Sandy says the neighbors would come over and the couples would play the men against the women. Got pretty lovely. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, hot chocolate and puzzle building. At least in my wife's family, they every Christmas they usually building puzzles. So that's basically a tradition. Oh yeah, that one. I'm familiar with that one. Never played it. Thank you, Nick. Geez, what my nose is itching today. Oh, it's so annoying. I was banned from a hearts playing group because I would always play to the middle score rather than highest. I won one too many times. Yeah, I figure. I have watched people play those games, Uno games, but I never played it myself. The adults drank coffee or beer. The kids had hot chocolate with marshmallows. Yeah, but hot chocolate with whipped cream is good too. My grandma said if your nose itches, someone is talking about you. Yeah, I figured. Card games, slap hacks, vicious in our home growing up. Yeah, I bet. There is another game. What is it called now again? Pictionary, I believe it's called. Slapjacks. We always ended slapping the heck out of each other. Okay, a slapping game. Um, After dark, kids played hide and seek outside. Yeah, hide and seek is a fun game too. There are theme-based card games too. If the kids like Marvel or Hello Kitty, for adults, Cards Against Humanity. Yeah, we would play poker until one person had all the chips. Okay. I have played poker, but it was a long time ago I did that. I don't have that much time to play card games. Oh, yeah, marbles. That marbles is definitely a classic one, and that works definitely in the holidays too. Ah, look, we got a full house now. Well, maybe, see, or maybe. It's snowing off and on all day. Okay. How much snow did you get? Making little boats from walnut shells. Yeah, that might be fun. Never did it before, but that sounds really fun to do. We made our Christmas ornaments each year. Okay, that's cool. None that stays. Okay. We used to do target shooting with homemade slingshots. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, when I was a kid, we made our own slingshots. That was really fun. Little rafts from the wine corks. Yeah, that makes a good toy. We made ornaments with pine cones and glitter and paper chains. Okay. You can do a lot of things with pine cones. We made animals with pine cones. We put just toothpicks into the pine cones and 4 toothpicks, and you get an animal. The local repair yard for the large commercial trucks have the perfect pine trees here. There, each spring, the tiny cutest pine cones fall. Okay, cool. I will dart at the top of the hour, and don't forget darts. Yeah, dart games, playing dart. That's fun too. I collected another shopping bag of those tiny cones to decorate later this year. Okay, cool. My mom is a teacher, so we used to some sort of gel that was like Xerox. We made color pages for her kids. That's really cool. They work perfect on little 3 to 4 foot trees. Okay. That's really nice. But I think as an activity for the kids to make animals of pine cones, it's just fun for the kids to do. They can make a little farm of pine cones with pine cone animals. Three to 4 foot trees. Hey, Crack and Grind, good to see you. How are you doing? So, any more ideas for celebrating holiday traditions in post-SHTF world? Oh, I remember paint by numbers. If you have the book, paint by numbers. That makes the time fly too. So package. Now I can't even pronounce things. I saw packages of tongue depressors at the Home Depot yesterday. They make great crafting sticks. Okay, cool, Vanessa. Hey, so girls, good to see you. What about making time and space for remembering and talking about good times and good people, coming together to talk about these with friends and family? That's a really good idea, actually. That's awesome because that would be a good story time for the kids too. CR says, coloring, I have used ash to color in grayscale. That's That's cool, CR. I finally get to put my feet up. Okay. Tough day, crack and grind. I think I will run for another 15 minutes. It's good to put your feet up, especially if you had a long day and tough day. And another thing I was thinking about, making cards, homemade postcards. That is another holiday activity you can do. I guess you could color with natural sources like fruit or coffee. Yeah, coffee would work, and tea would also work. Fruit, maybe, but that needs some experimenting to do some experimenting with, because I have no idea if you can color with fruit. But hey, Myra, good to see you, ma'am. Yeah, beets, blueberry. Yeah, that would definitely work. Huh, beets, beets. Man, that sticks if you get it on your clothes. Yes, and use different plants, resins, even grass, maybe red cabbage. Good point. Turmeric, yeah. The Aquatic News Network, good to see you. Yeah, turmeric for yellow, yes. I have made pink and purple colored rice before. Okay. How did you make pink and purple colored rice, CR? Yeah, don't forget salt. Thyme actually goes red, and Vikings used privet hedge even. Okay, good to know. I didn't know that. The Aquatic News Network says expensive, but saffron is great for orange dye. Okay, that's really cool. In SHTF, food could become predictable, so try and make something different that people would like on someone's birthday, especially something the birthday person would love. Yeah, that's a really good idea too. Raspberry or blueberry, okay. Saffron is what Buddhist monks would use to dye their robes. Okay, I didn't know that, but thank you for mentioning it. That would be really expensive robes if they dye it with saffron. But I love saffron. We could also use leaves dipped in wax for cutting and sticking shapes to make collages for the cards. Okay. Never heard of that one before, but thanks for the tips. Sandy says we made very fancy colored Russian Easter eggs. An egg might take 2 days. We used handmade tools to decorate. Okay, cool. That's really cool. What else can we come up with? Let's see. Oh, geez, my paper mache or origami. Yeah, that's when I was a kid in school, we made paper mache. That was really fun, actually. I really love to do that because you can get exactly the shape you want. The wax helps the leaves to hold the color, then you can stick them down and make pictures. Okay, that's cool. Never done that before, but it sounds really cool actually. I will remember that one. We made homemade paste from water and flour. Okay, cool. To make paper mache. Okay. Never thought you could do that way. A large journal where you can decorate and document special occasions, holidays, etc. Fun to fill in the entire entries, but also fun to read it afterwards. That's another great idea, Purple Ale. Never done it before, but that would be really awesome if you have a large journal to do it. What else can we come up with? Oh, geez. My brain won't work as I want to, obviously, today. There is something else. Oh, I remember what. One thing. What we did when I was a kid, we had a little small toy steam engine. That was really cool. That is something you can play around with. Yes, even make your own paper by soaking and mulching paper fiber or plant materials, then sieving them in mesh over a picture frame, then set it out to dry and squeeze the water. It will dry. Yeah, make your own paper is another good idea. Well, I already ate so before the stream, so I'm full. You can add dried herbs and petals to and make it smell nice. Good idea. I never made paper before, but or have I? Yeah, I think I did it in school one time. We made paper. Have something refreshing to eat and drink. Well, I had already had my pasta, so I'm happy. Oh, Mom and I made doll clothes. Yeah, that's another good, cool activity you can do if you're good at it. I would probably mess things up with that. Me and Needles doesn't tag along, especially when I'm suing. I'm really bad at it. Oh, Lord. I had lots of sisters. Yeah. You can make a foil hat, but that may alienate, um, alienate others to the just saying. Yeah. 4 sisters and 4 brothers. Oh Lord, you had a big family. 4 sisters and 4 brothers. Oh Lord, that's a lot of siblings. Okay, so you're the oldest. Are your siblings still alive? What about having a set of props for games like charades or role play, even acting out stories as you're telling them to each other, putting on plays for each other? Yeah, that's another great idea, actually, in my opinion. Role playing is really fun, actually. Yeah, a good thing to try is learning knot tying or something else skill based with the kids. Yeah, that's a really good idea. Okay, I'm going to my parents' house tomorrow for an Easter meal. We're having an egg hunt, even though my child is nearly 17. Yeah. It might be fun for them anyway, even if they are that old. Nick, that would tie you over for a bit at least. CR, you tie things up, okay? Guys, I think I'm ending the stream now. I need to drive my missus to the church in 1 hour, so I need to get something more probably to eat, a sandwich maybe. So before I do that, so I think we wrap things up now. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate it. And stay safe, take care, and remember, be part of the solution, not the problem. And I will see you next week on Saturday, same time, same channel. Take care, stay safe, God bless. And we are out.